Okay, let's go ahead and continue to review for the paper exams. Less than 3 weeks away. Remember what's happening tomorrow. Okay, a quiz, and it's going to be one of the problems coming straight off of review 2. So we'll see, hopefully with the amount of time we have, you should actually know what it is, okay, going into it. All right, I think we finished up with number 2 yesterday. So now we're on number 3. All right, the equation of a line, L sub 1 is y equals 1 half x. On the grid, draw and label the line L sub 1. Okay, so this is in slope-intercept form, but what's the y-intercept? 0. Okay. So my gradient is 1 half, so rise over run. I'm going to go up 1 for every 2, up 1 over 2. So this right here, okay, would be L1. All right. Now it says the line L sub 2 has the same gradient as L sub 1, but crosses the y-axis at 3. Okay. What's the geometric relationship between L sub 1 and L sub 2? Parallel. That's exactly what we're talking about. All right. They are parallel. Okay. And what do we describe the lines as doing if they have gradients that are opposite reciprocals? Perpendicular. There you go. They form a 90-degree angle. So write down the equation of L sub 2. Well, we definitely know it's got to be y equals, what would it be? There you go. 1 half x plus 3. The exact same gradient slope, but it just crosses the y-axis at a different location. And now it says on the same grid, draw L sub 2. Okay, so it starts at 3, up 1 over 2, up 1 over 2. And there we go. All right, well, that one was easy enough. Okay. Straight lines. While we're talking about lines, do we want to review any of the other forms? Standard form and the restrictions, the conditions that exist, point slope. You want to talk about those? Okay. What was point slope? Does anybody remember the general form? Well, now that's slope-intercept. So y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Okay, so you're only plugging in for x1, y1, and the slope m. Remember, x and y are what we call generic variables. They're going to be there as part of the equation. So if you have a point and a slope. And then what was standard form? ax plus by equals c. And remember, there were 3 restrictions, all right? Can you give me one? Now, I will go ahead and say that the test probably may not go through with these, but I think it's good to go ahead and know them anyway. So, Raya, sorry to interrupt you.
They can't be in fractions.
Okay, so no fractions and also no what? Okay, no fractions, no decimals. Perfect. Gabby, what's the second one? Well, A or B can be 0, just not both. Okay, so it's not one of them. There is something about A, though. It has to be, it's got to be positive. There we go. So if it's negative, we can easily change that. And there's one more dealing with all 3 values. Except what? Except 1, because that's the gimme. Okay. So they all cannot have a common factor besides 1. And did I also show you the 4th equation of a line? I don't want to go ahead and say it. I want to see if you guys.
X over C over.
Yes. Do you remember what it's called? Double intercept form. There we go. X over. Now, what was, if you had this right here, what was the x-intercept? C over A plus y over C over B, and it equals 1. Remember, we called that double intercept form. Okay, just another form of a line that's good to know. I doubt it's going to show up on the exam, but, you know. Okay, moving along. So this is the one we did yesterday in class. All right. Okay, so let's see what number 5 says. The first 4 terms of an arithmetic sequence are shown below. 1, 5, 9, 13, ... So write down the nth term of the sequence. So what they're asking you is to come up with a formula to find any term we want in the sequence. Remember, we referred to that as the explicit formula. Okay, does anybody remember what the explicit formula was the general form for an arithmetic sequence. We were looking at the sums the other day. This, I believe, is going to be in your formula booklet. Okay, so we would start by saying a sub n equals, then there's a couple of items that we needed. I'm sorry? You need the first term. Okay, so a sub 1. Honestly, the variable itself doesn't matter. Different resources are going to have different variables. I always kind of default back to A. I think what we did was probably U, but that doesn't change anything. So what do I do to that A sub 1? There's a little more. Plus what? Okay, plus n minus 1, and then we multiply that by D. Remember, D is what we refer to as the common difference. Okay, that was our value that we added or subtracted over and over again. So for this, if we want to go ahead and come up with that explicit formula, we're going to plug in everything we know except for n. We're going to leave n as he is. So let's see, a sub n equals first term? 1, that's easy. Plus, again, leave that n alone, n minus 1 times, and what is that? 4. There you go. And, I mean, it's easy if you go ahead and take consecutive terms. If you just subtract them, 13 minus 9, 9 minus 5, and so forth, will give you that common difference. Again, just FYI, because geometric sequences and series could easily play a part in this. What do we call the value that you multiply by over and over again? The common what? Common ratio. And what variable is it? R. Okay, very good. So now we're just going to go ahead and simplify this. So let's see here. That would be 1 plus, distribute the 4, 4n minus 4. So I'd have 4n minus 3. Okay, so that would be my formula. Should give me any term in the sequence I want. So speaking of, it says calculate the 100th term. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say a sub 100. Remember that little subscript, that's n. That's the term number you're looking for. All right, well, it's just substitution. 4n minus 3 becomes 4 times 100 minus 3, which would be what? 397. There we go. Now we want the sum of the first 100 terms of the sequence. And we just went over this very recently. In fact, the two formulas. Okay. Now, I know which formula they're leaning towards because of what we have, but can anybody give me one of the two if I want a summation of a specific number of terms for an arithmetic sequence? What does S sub n equal? This is also something that's going to be in the formula book. You won't have to memorize. N over 2 starts it for both of them. Okay. So S sub n equals n divided by 2. And this problem actually has everything I need for this one particular formula. It's the shorter of the two. Say again? Okay, so you say u. I was figuring what you're trying to say. So basically u sub 1 plus u sub n? That's exactly right. So the first term plus the last term. Okay, and I'll go ahead and change it. She said u, so I'll go ahead and use that. Remember, the variable itself doesn't matter. So that's the shorter version if you know the first and the last. But what was the other one if you don't know the last term? But you do know the number of terms. Okay. S sub n equals, or I should say the common difference. So you still started out with n divided by 2. 2 times a sub 1, or u sub 1, plus n minus 1 times d. There we go. Okay. And actually, we can use either for this one because we know both the first and the last. We know we're adding 100 terms, and we know what the common difference is. But we can just go ahead and plug into this first one. So the sum of the first 100 terms should be 100 halves times the first term, which was what? 1, plus it was 397. Okay. So basically, it looks like I'm needing 50 times 398. And I don't know what that is off the top of my head. What's that get me? 19,900. Okay, do you guys agree? There we go. Perfect. All right. Arithmetic sequences and series kind of coming back to you? Okay. Good, 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 good. All right. Excellent, excellent, excellent. All right, we are moving along. We're going at good speed now. Number 6, a piece of fencing 20 meters long is used to make a sheep pen. The fencing forms 3 sides of a rectangle. The 4th side is part of a wall as shown in the diagram. Okay, the length of BC is X meters. All right, write in terms of X an expression for the length of AB and the area of the rectangle. All right. You want to try this one on your own? Yes, we do. Okay. All right. Whoever that was, I didn't see who said it, but okay. Let me give you a couple of minutes to think about that. Okay. And remember, good opportunity. If you're not sure, talk with those people around you. You know, try to bounce an idea off each other. Okay. This is one of those problems where it seems, easier than it might look. Okay, that was 2 minutes. Who thinks they have an answer? Okay, let me rephrase. Who has an answer, but they're not 100% confident? Okay. Well, why don't we go ahead and start with what some of you guys did, and then we'll see if it turns out to be the same thing I did, or if we need to talk about a different strategy. Who feels confident? Okay, so nobody feels confident, but who would like to share what they have? Hey, Sydney, okay. Okay, so you said 20 is equal to what? 2x plus xm. Okay. So you went ahead and said AB was x?
Oh wait. Yeah, sorry. B to C is supposed to be X. I said X.
Okay. Well, that's basically exactly what I did. So she pretty much has the equation correct. The only thing here, BC is x, so we're not going to go ahead and say that AB is the same length. So I went ahead and actually used the endpoints there. The one thing that really helped me out was the fact they said it was a what? A rectangle, so I know that AB has got to be the same length as DC. So what I did, I'm going to go ahead and take that meters off right there. I went ahead and said 20 has got to equal twice the length of AB plus X. So I think that's exactly what you were thinking about. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I went ahead and just used AB in there. And then I just solved it pretending it was a variable. Okay, so I got that the length of AB is equal to what? 2 things I had to do. You could write it as 10 minus x over 2 if you want to. I left mine as 20 minus x over 2, but that would be equivalent to saying 10 minus x over 2 or minus 1 half x. Okay. Who got one of those expressions? I'm sorry?
I didn't get it like that, but I wrote it as 1/2 and then parentheses I put 20 minus x.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. That would be fine. Okay, anybody else?
I did like kind of the same thing. I did like 20 minus AB minus
Okay.
20 minus like the other two.
Mhm. Okay. Good, 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 good. And then it says, how would I find the area?
Teachers, please pardon this announcement. At this time, we send all gymnastics, cheer, and pom kids down to the West Gym for their physicals. That's gymnastics, cheer, and pom. Thank you.
Does that apply to anybody in here? Okay. All right, so where were we? Okay, the area of the rectangle. Well, how do you find the area of a rectangle? Okay, yeah, length times width, base times height. So we already know this base right here. We just found that height. So I would go ahead and say, what would you like me to multiply it across since we have two versions here? Probably the binomial over there? You guess? Okay, Gabby says yes, okay. So the area is going to be x times 10 minus x over 2. And then you can just go ahead and distribute that. So that would be 10x minus x squared over 2. Okay. All right. Here we go. How'd we do on that one? Yeah, so I mean, just basics about a rectangle. Okay. And a lot of times that really happens because, the thing you have to remember going into this test, there's going to be a ton of information on here. And yeah, some of the questions are going to be really difficult, but not all of them are going to be like that. Don't let yourself think that all these questions are going to be ridiculously hard because it's really easy to walk into an easy question and second guess yourself. And then it starts taking time and then you start making the wrong choices. Yes?
So on the area one, why couldn't you just say the area is like 8 plus 1 x?
Well, I think the idea for all these problems is that what they have you do pretty much 9 times out of 10 is it's always progressive. So you see what they did, they're telling you that the base is x, and then now they're going to have you find the length of this in terms of x. So I would think because we already have that, we would just go ahead and multiply those together because we know what AB represents. Does that kind of make sense? Okay. Actually, I don't know what they would do. My guess would be if for the area, all you did was put x times AB. If you had previously solved for it, and gotten A right, I honestly don't know what they would view that as. That's a good question. I don't know. Okay. Anybody else do something similar? No? Okay. Next up, number 7. The weights on the members of several families were measured. The results are shown in this table. Okay, so we've got underweight, normal, overweight, boys, girls, men, women, and all the totals. Looks like 106 altogether. Find the values of P and Q. All right, well, how am I going to do that? Looks like I have a contingency table. Okay, Peyton, what would you do? Okay, so what are we getting for P? 10, okay. All right, and that makes sense because 2 plus 10 plus 1 plus 7 is going to give me the 20. Okay, perfect. And then what am I getting for Q? 19. There we go. Exactly. So P is equal to 10, Q is equal to 19. Okay. I mean, personally, when I started this problem, I waited just a minute. Waited. I stand by that joke. Because it's about weight, Sydney. Okay, just making sure. Making sure. Okay. All right. B, find the number of people in the following sets. Okay, so let me give you about a minute to take a look at this. Remember, what's the upside down U? That's the intersection. The U is the union. Okay, remember we talked about the union is the marriage of two different items or sets. The intersection is only what they share, what they have in common. Okay, so let's say about a minute to go through B123, or I. Yes, ma'am. Yeah, sure. Hello.
So sorry to interrupt. Would you be available to cover an IEP meeting at their eighth period for about 10 minutes?
Uh, Maybe. Who would be able to watch my class?
Mr. Jackson.
Would it be at the beginning? Or?
It's
Okay.
for 310.
Who is it? Okay.
Assessment.
Okay.
So we're not doing the whole thing.
All right, so it'll only take about 10 minutes?
Would
Okay.
that be okay?
Yep. Where do I need to be?
1307.
1307. Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Thank you.
There you go. Okay, so let's go ahead and run around the room real fast. Find the number of people in the following sets. I want the intersection of the underweight and the women. So, Evelyn, what do you think? That is 7, yes. Okay, now I want the union of the men and the boys. Let's go with Karima. 54, yes. Okay, combine those two sets. Now this one is kind of like we want to go through the order of operations. So first I want to take the union of the women and the girls, and then I want to take the intersection of that union with the normal weight. Okay, so let's go for Caroline. How many people belong to that particular set? That is correct, 28. Okay, 7, 54, 28. How many people got those right? That's good. That's a lot of hands going up. Would anybody like to elaborate on any of these? Did anybody not get one of those? Would feel confident? Okay. Okay. So C, if you do have a question, let me know. Change your mind. What's the probability that a person chosen at random for the 106 family members is overweight male or an underweight girl? Okay, so again, take about a minute or so, give you a little bit of time, try these out. Okay, I would think definitely the concept we had the most difficulty with this year would definitely be probability. Okay, does everyone have an answer for all three, or do we need a little more time? Okay. Then how about Michelle? Let's start with you. Oh, are you not done yet? Oh, okay. So we need a little more time. Okay. Peyton, what do you think? There you go, because it just says overweight. It doesn't specify gender or anything like that. So there are 19 total people who are overweight with 106 total. Okay. What's the probability of the person chosen from the 106 family members is male? Okay, Michelle, you got this one?
Okay, I have a question.
Uh-huh.
So if it says male, would you be adding the boys and the men, or are you just gonna?
I would combine both the boys and the men.
Okay, I got 54 out of
There we go. So this two right here, 54 out of 106. Okay, and we can do what? Or simplify. Is that what you were going to say? Yes. So in fact, they can both be divided by 2. So I'd be looking at 27 53rds. Okay, there we go. All right. Yes, sir.
So can we answer the question? Can we like put it in percentages, or would they rather have it in fractions?
You know, I would say probably fractions are the way to go. I mean, I don't think there would be anything taken off if you were to go ahead and convert it to decimals. I would probably encourage you to go ahead and do it in 3 sig figs, but I think fractions should be just fine. Okay. All right. Good. And let's finish up 3, probability of an underweight girl. So let's go, how about Zoe? Okay. 5 53rds? Do we agree? Okay, yes. What was the original fraction that we reduced to get that? There we go, 10 106. Okay, any questions on the probability portion? I would encourage you to simplify, yes. I think that's probably something they would look at. Okay, I would definitely do that. All right, and then our last part here. Okay, what's the probability that a person chosen at random for the 106 family members is a boy or a man of normal weight? Okay, a boy or a man of normal weight. Does anyone already have this one? Okay, Gabby, what do you think? That's exactly what I got. 39 out of 106. Okay. A boy or a man of normal weight, that's where we got the 39 out of the total 106. Okay, how we doing? Okay. All right, good. Okay, well, 2 problems left. We have numbers 8 and 9. One of these is going to be another one we'll go ahead and work together. The other will be the quiz that you'll take tomorrow. Anybody want to take odds on which one you think it's going to be? Number 8 will be your quiz.
Oh, yes.
That is the fun probability problem. I would say probably out of all of these reviews, that one, I love to hate that one the best. All right. Have you ever heard that phrase before? Like the villain you love to hate, the Joker.
Well, yeah, but like this one looks pretty simple. So
It looks simple. Oh, that's fantastic. That's fantastic. I love to hear that. Love the confidence. So I'm going to skip past 8. Okay. And let's go ahead and take a look at number 9. This is our last one, and then we'll go ahead and start review 3. In fact, has anybody had the opportunity to start review 3? Oh, not yet? Okay. Maybe after we finish this one, I'll just go ahead and give you the rest of the time to go ahead and start looking at review 3. Okay. But I'm guessing probably a lot of folks are going to do what when they go home tonight?
do number 8.
Probably look through problem number 8 ahead of time. Yes. So like he said, when it starts out, it's really easy, but then the more you go along in the problem, especially when you get to the battery ones, it really starts to get a little iffy. All right. John pays 1/5 of his weekly earning to his parents for housekeeping. He earns X pounds per week. Okay, A, write an expression in X, which represents how much John pays his parents each week. He receives a 7% pay raise. Write a second expression in X, which represents how much extra John earns each week. John earns 214 pounds per week after his pay raise. How much did he earn per week before the pay raise? All right, so to finish up this second review packet, why don't we go ahead, I'll give you let's say 2 minutes, because this problem is another one of those that is not too terrible. Shouldn't take us too long. Give you a couple minutes, and then we'll see if we can't get somebody to come on up here and help out. Okay. And then we will go ahead and start review 3 tomorrow. Yes. Okay, so let's see. Who would be willing to come on up and kind of walk us through this problem? Okay, I do have a new random number generator that I found. It seems to be working very nicely. 5. All right. All right. Don't worry, we are helping you out if you need it. Okay, well, I love the confidence. Okay, write an expression in X, which represents how much John pays his parents, and he pays them 1/5 of his earnings. Okay. So I would agree. I don't know if I would use equality.
So is it just 1/5 of X?
Okay, what do you guys think? I would say so. Okay. Yes. So the expression would just be, yeah, whatever it is that you write. I mean, if I were to write it as an equation, I might say A equals, like for amount, something like that. Oh, no, well, I'll tell you what. If someone's willing to come up, then you can go ahead and sit down. Otherwise, oh,
I don't care.
sad. Okay, so he receives a 7% pay raise. Write a second expression in X, which represents how much extra John earns each week.
Are you just going to multiply that by 0.7 or no?
Well,
You add it?
you are going to add the increase. But there we go. There we go. See, the 1/5 X, that just represents how much he gives his parents, right? So we're not doing any kind of increase on that. We're just increasing the amount that he gets by 7%.
And you're adding it?
Okay. Now, this one, I don't think this one would include the 1/5. Because this one just says how much extra he earns each week, regardless of the fact that he's going to give 1/5 of it to his parents. I just wrote it out as basically x plus 0.07x.
But you don't multiply 0.07? Oh, x.
Yes. And then you can combine those to be 1.07x. Does that make sense? No? Okay. So there's the amount that he earns per week, right? That's the amount that he's going to be getting in addition. That's his raise. So what would that be if I went ahead and combined them? If I were to actually take x plus 0.07x. Ooh. Nope. 1 plus 1.07. Oops. I just said it. 1 plus 0.07. There you go.
Was that going to be your second expression?
Yes. So that would represent how much extra he's earning per week. So it even says write a second expression. The way I'm reading it, it's not connected to the original one that we went ahead and wrote. We know he's giving his parents 1/5 of what he earns, but this is how much extra he earns per week. Now, if I did want to know, like, what expression would result in the increase that his parents are going to get, then I would probably go ahead and multiply that, the 1.07x, times the 1/5. Does that make sense? Okay. All right. And then here's our last part here. So John earns, and Michelle is really looking out at the crowd. Is anybody going to help her out? Or all right. So Haley's going to come on up and help her with this last one. John earns 214 pounds per week after his pay rise, it says. How much did he earn per week before the pay rise? I would say that's pay raise. Is pay rise the correct way to say that?
No.
I don't know. I'm not an English teacher, so I don't.
That's definitely looking at me. When she is multiplying this by. What is 214?
No. So what I would do is go ahead and divide that. Because, see, the 1.07 represents the increase. X is what he originally earned per week. So I would equate them and then just divide by that coefficient.
Okay. I just did like 214 times 0.07, and then I got like 14 point something and subtracted that from 214.
That would work as well. Okay. She found out what the percent increase was, and then she subtracted that from 214, which is going to get you right. That's exactly, that would work too.
That equals something, I forgot what.
What does that equal?
Wait, what did it do? I don't know. I'll just write down what I got.
Okay. I got 200.
Oh, maybe I probably put it wrong in my calculator. Just 200 like flat?
Mm-hmm. John, what'd you do?
Just do it
1.07, yeah.
I feel like I did 214 times 0.07 and subtracted that.
Okay. So she did get 199.02, so it's close. I think as far as the strategy goes, I would still absolutely give that to you. Again, I can't speak for the grader on the test, but 1498.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah, and what I did, I just said 214 equals 1.07x, and then I divided by the 1.07. Okay. So basically that's 107% of whatever it is that you have. Okay. So good. Good, good. Any questions? Oh, about 8? Uh-huh.
When it says both light bulbs were not green, does that mean like both at the same time, or there's
That means whatever bulbs were chosen, whatever bulb was chosen for the first room, another bulb was chosen for the second room, neither of those were green.
Okay. So it can't be like one green and
No. So both not green at the same time. I mean, I will tell you, it is very possible to go ahead and create a tree diagram based on that, but I would probably encourage you not to do so because you're going to end up with a lot of branches. Okay. I think you end up with 27 total on the end of it. I mean, it gets pretty large. I think there are other ways that are better and more efficient to do it.
colored light bulbs, 5 good abilities. Are the green, red, yellow included in the colored light bulbs, or are colored light bulbs separate from those are?
Yeah, so imagine you've got just like a tub with this number of these colored light bulbs, and you're just reaching in and pulling them out.
Okay, so there's still 10 total.
Oh, yes,
Okay,
yes.
I didn't know if it was like 10, like separate and then the.
But then don't forget about as you're going along those branches, if you do decide to go ahead and create the tree diagram, if you go ahead and choose one light bulb, whatever color, when you choose the next one, how many are left? 9. Okay, so that will play a big part as you go through to the second and the third rooms. Okay. All right, so we know that one is definitely going to be our quiz. Okay. One other thing I want to show you very quickly, again, just to get awareness out there for this. Remember, if you go to the class website, the current week, 22nd to the 26th. Okay. Oh, did I do it the previous week? Sorry. Hey, where'd he go? Did I choose pre-cal? I did. Sorry. I meant math studies. Yeah. Sometimes I know where I am. Okay, so right here in the current week, IB Math Studies, SL. It takes you to the OSC website. Okay. We want to choose Math Studies. And then you could choose, problems on any of these. But what's really nice about this, remember, they have the video explanations. So if you're not able to do it, they will walk you through that. Okay, so, like this coming weekend, Saturday night, nothing big is going on, right? That was a joke. I know it's prom. Okay, but if you're not going to prom, who wants to go dance and have fun with your friends all night when you could do math? There you go. Exactly. I'm going to stop.